You're muted, Sage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sage Turner, Chair of the Asheville Regional Housing Consortium, and I'd like to welcome you to this special meeting for the Home Investment Partnership or HOME program and application presentations. All board members and applicants are participating virtually. We're streaming live on the Virtual Engagement Hub, which is accessible on our website. You can also call in if you're a public and want to listen live, and that phone number is 855-925-2801. And the meeting code for today's meeting is 8763. If you're out there and joining us today, welcome. I'm going to go through and introduce all the board members and staff leadership. As I say your name, please unmute and say a quick hello, then return to mute. Robin Merrill, Vice Chair from the town of Marshall.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm going to introduce you also where you're from. I think it will, or where you're representing, I think it will help. Karen Kina from Mars Hill. No Karen today. Okay, Ben Woody with the City of Asheville.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Jennifer Miranda with Hendersonville County.
Hi.
Okay. Eric Rufa, Town of Fletcher.
Hi, good afternoon.
Jacob Comper from Henderson County.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Matthew Cable from Buncombe County. Oh, I think Matthew was not able to be here today. That's right. Nate Pennington, Buncombe County. Okay. Aaron Bland, the City of Brevard. Okay. Forrest from Madison County. My goodness. Okay. Adrian Eisenhower, Town of Woodfin.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for being here. Alan McNeil, Transylvania County. Interesting. And Councilman Pertiller, Black Mountain. Archie, you here? Okay, that was a significant amount of absences. Staff, did you capture all that for your notes? Okay.
Yes, we captured that.
Okay, and this will be recorded so they can follow up and watch.
And Sage, I'm sorry, I just wanted to mention I'm here as the alternate for Transylvania County.
Oh, I did not see you. I mean, I saw you and I didn't have your name on my list. Sorry, Kate.
That's okay.
Okay, staff leadership joining us today, Community and Economic Development Director, Nikki Reed.
Good afternoon.
Interim Community Development Manager, Jonathan Jones. Somewhere. And it looks like I see Nate Pennington joining us. Okay, there's Jonathan. Great. And Nate is here from Buncombe County. Thank you, Nate, for joining us. We'll mark you as present. Okay. We have this meeting slated for 2 hours. It will not be 2 hours today. What we're doing is hearing presentations from 7 organizations, and each organization will have 3 minutes. Applicants, please refer to the countdown. There'll be a display timer on the screen as you're presenting. Oh, Linda Saturno. Okay. Hi, Linda. Yes. Thank you. During the presentation, you will not be asking questions or getting questions from committee members. There will not be any public comment. This is just a presentation, and we're going to go through them one after the other. And this is just a reminder, this is just a special meeting. We're going to have another meeting next week on the 23rd at 10 a.m. for the actual home funding recommendations. So this is just presentations. We'll also be making recommendations about allocations that day, as well as tackling other agenda items. We'll post that information on the city's website prior to the meeting, about 3 days before. And I believe we have Nikki with us today that's going to kind of give us a kickoff summary of what we are to expect today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to get to it.
And I'm actually handing that off to Jonathan Jones. Thanks, Jonathan.
Sure. Thank you all for being here today, and for our applicants for joining in and making some time to present on their projects. I wanted, as by way of a bit of a summary, just to catch everybody up on where we are in the home funding process. Our team at the city released the applications back in December, and folks partner agencies in the community had until February 4th to submit those. Community development staff have spent the last month combing through all of those, looking for projects that met HUD eligibility criteria, fit into our consolidated plan, demonstrated capacity to deliver on the projects that they proposed, didn't have any significant monitoring issues or problems with lots of unspent funds. So we're looking to set project up for success with our home money. We received 11 applications initially, and a few of those were not selected to move forward because of some of the issues that I mentioned earlier. The total request was 5.1 million. And we are expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.3 million as part of our home allocation this year. HUD hasn't posted those numbers yet, but we've been using last year's numbers as a solid estimate, just for context. The applications that were reviewed we sent those out to committee members for review, as well as a staff evaluation and a scoring summary for each project to give an idea on how those different metrics measured up. And we've requested written feedback from each applicant, and all of that has been shared in the meeting materials for review. So for today, we are, as Sage mentioned, just doing presentations and giving folks 3 minutes to share about their project, and we can get started with that if there aren't any questions. So moving right along, we've got Sean Brady from Commonwealth Corporation of America, and giving him 3 minutes to share about the Fairhaven Meadows project. So Sean, if you can unmute your mic and make sure your camera is on, we'll be glad to tune in.
Okay, great. Everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for the opportunity, everybody. I'm Sean Brady. I'm the Vice President of Commonwealth Development. We're a national top 20 affordable housing developer based in Wisconsin. I'm responsible for the Southeast and have developed a number of units in the area, including Fairhaven Summit there in Asheville, which was a 9% award last year. Fairhaven Summit is located in Brevard, right on Asheville Highway, 235 Asheville Highway. We are zoned in MX. We're proposing 60 units of family targeted housing. We'll be using income averaging to provide the maximum breadth of families we can serve. I believe our income brackets range from 40% to 70% AMI. We did just get our market study back from North Carolina yesterday, and I just forwarded that on to the city staff this morning. So sorry, nobody's had a chance to review it yet, but the summary was very positive from Novogradac, fully supported the demand and the achievability of the rents, and showed a pretty high absorption rate there as well. We have done some discussions with the community and are exploring some interesting partnerships. I think we've spoken with some of the elected representatives, and they referenced us or referred us on to Sharing House. And we're talking right now with Shelley Webb there about some interesting concepts of providing an on-site food pantry. And they also do a lot of great continuing education programs that would target our demographic there in the community. And so we're talking through ways that we can provide facilities and then hopefully establish a partnership to provide those services there on site for our residents. So I think it'd be a very great community, a very good community to serve a lot of families in need. There's a lot of demand in Brevard. We are asking for funding assistance from the Housing Consortium. We're asking for $500,000, but of course, honestly, as a 9% application, anything is helpful that we can get. Costs are a challenge. We are requesting a cash flow loan repayment, and I think our terms are 3% interest. And the reason for that is it doesn't reduce the principal of our permanent loan proceeds. Otherwise, hard debt actually provides a little bit of an additional gap. We are thankful we've got some prior experience working with the Housing Consortium and home funds, and thankfully we're almost through the NEPA HUD clearance process on Fairhaven Summit, which is about a 30-minute drive north of this site in Brevard. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to hopefully work with the city and its staff again. We've really enjoyed it. Appreciate everyone's help getting us up to speed, moving us through the process. We think it's a competitive application with a good chance of success. But as we all know, it remains to be seen how everything shakes out with the competitive process. But looking forward to being able to meet a continued need in the consortium service area. 2 seconds to spare.
Very good. Thank you, Sean. moving along, we have with us today April Burgess Johnson from Helpmate, who will be talking to us about the rental assistance for domestic violence survivors request.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. I just want to point out, we're after ELIDA. I know that was an issue at the last, but I'm happy to move forward. Okay.
They're not here. They're not here today.
Okay. My apologies.
No worries.
So good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for that little blip. I'm April Burgess Johnson. I'm proud to serve as the Executive Director for Helpmate. Helpmate is the organization in Buncombe County that has provided safety, shelter, and support to domestic violence survivors for more than 45 years. Domestic violence is a leading cause of homelessness for women and children, and I'm in full support of a full spectrum approach to addressing homelessness in our community that really runs the gamut from emergency shelter services all the way up through rental assistance, home ownership, and home repair programming. And this project fits well into that continuum. We're seeking $170,000 worth of home funding to provide tenant-based rental assistance to 16 families containing 35 people who live at 50% or less of the adjusted median income for the area. And we know that survivors that we serve are experiencing multiple types of risk, including high risks of lethal violence from the abusive partners from whom they fled. The survivors that are served by Helpmate tend to be folks that are vulnerable in our communities in multiple ways. Not only have they experienced violence, but we know that there's an equity component to consider. 34% of all of the people Helpmate serves in our programs identify as BIPOC people. 4% are LGBTQ, and 19% are people living with disabilities. We know that communities that are typically marginalized bear higher burdens of violence. This program would assist survivors with finding affordable and available housing. So it's a companion project to a CDBG request for housing case management, through which we would provide housing search, landlord negotiations, inspections, leasing, move-in support, and ongoing case management to ensure some ongoing stability for the families that we house through the home tenant-based rental assistance program. We do have a 100% retention rate in our housing programs at the 6-month mark, and we complement those programs with job training and placement services that we have through partnerships in the community. Helpmate manages more than 40 grants every year. We submit regularly to site visits and desk monitoring. Just last fall, we had a week-long HUD audit, which, like all of our other grant monitoring, yielded no findings and no recommendations. I did want to note that Helpmate was awarded both home funding and reallocated funding last year for the current fiscal year, but we are not yet under contract with those funds from the city. And so this funding request that's in front of you is for a continuation of those programs. Thank you so much for your time and the opportunity to speak with you today. Take care.
Thank you, April. Next up, we have Linda Saturno from the Henderson County Habitat for Humanity here to present on Dodd Meadows Phase 7.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. And yes, my name is Linda Saturno. I am the new CEO here in Henderson County. This is my 4th week. So nothing like jumping right in, and I do appreciate the opportunity. You all are familiar with Habitat. Our mission is to provide access to housing to families who can't quite make it. They're families who are sandwiched between not low enough to qualify for other housing, not high enough to be able to afford. Interestingly, I spent a number of years working in free medical clinics, and what I've been talking about recently, it's the same client base. Free medical clinics can't afford medical care, can't afford housing, can't afford insurance, and so free clinics meet that need. Because of that, there's some great synergies going on. To describe our clients in a little bit more detail, we are serving clients who are between 30 to 80% of the adjusted median income for our area. They must meet certain standards in terms of credit, ability to pay, and then willingness to work sweat equity hours, which generally it's 100 hours required on the website and then 100 additional hours required in restores or administration. Our representation of our families, the makeup, it's about a third, meaning Caucasian, African American, and Hispanic. And so that is just a balance that we've taken in our community. I'd like for you to know a little bit about Dod Meadows to also know what you're investing in. Dod Meadows is actually an award-winning community. There are 65 homes there right now, 50 more to come. The reason it's award-winning community is because it is really a 360 approach, true social work. A community center is there that families can access. We are partnering with Conserving North Carolina right now to put a walking trail down one side of the property. And we are engaging more with our homeowners in case management and linkage with other resources. This funding for $200,000 would pay $25,000 down payment assistance for our families, and it would be utilized and accessed, allocated according to need for the families that are coming in, given that range between 30 to 80% of the adjusted gross income for the area. What we hope is that these communities, once the infrastructure is built, the houses are in, this model community is like, it's not a house, it's a home, and that we partner with the rest of the community to really support that family in a 360-degree approach for success for that family. Hope to have, because of that, increased college readiness and more economic development in the long run because of these families. Thank you so much.
Jonathan, if I may interrupt for a second, I'm looking at the sources and the uses is completely blank. If there's any updated information, please have it sent. Or Linda, if you could go back and fill that out and get it to staff, that'd be helpful. Thank you. And welcome to your new position.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Ashlyn McCoy with Housing Assistance Corporation, presenting for Apple Ridge Project.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I am Ashley McCoy, the Executive Director for the Housing Assistance Corporation. Good to see everybody's faces this afternoon. As many of you know, the Housing Assistance Corporation is a local nonprofit group here in Henderson County, and our mission is to provide safe and affordable housing to persons of limited income. We have presented to you the Apple Ridge Project. It is 60 units of new construction located off Sugarloaf Road here in Hendersonville. We have sought after a tax credit application with this and are going through that process now. And we actually went to Planning Board yesterday and that was approved. So we're going to be headed to City Council here in the next few weeks. The complex consists of three-story buildings on approximately 5 acres. It is centrally located here in Hendersonville. It's actually right across the street from another one of our sites, Sugarloaf Apartments. And the community itself will consist of the 3 buildings plus office space, laundry room, and a community room. We're also proposing walking trails and then working with Conserving Carolina on coming up with stream bank restoration ideas. And it'll include a playground. We're requesting $600,000 to assist with the construction of this site, and you can see that outlined in our performa sent to the city staff. This project is extremely important to the residents of Henderson County. The average rent here, it ranges from $1,200 to $1,500, and we have a 0% vacancy for subsidized units in Henderson County. This project's proposed rents range from $422 to $1,033, and that includes utilities. Again, affordable housing units are desperately needed in Henderson County, and we're excited to have this opportunity to provide more affordable units to our community. As always, we are so thankful for city staff and the consortium for supporting not only housing assistance, but also the region that we work in. One other thing I would like to note that we are a CHOTO member organization and have submitted that information to city staff in our application as well. So thank you, and we look forward to working with you all.
Thank you very much, Ashlyn. Moving along, we have Tracy Dusenberry Tate. I hope I got that right, with WDT Development presenting for White Pine Villas.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for this opportunity. I am Tracy Dusenberry Tate with Halcon Companies. I'm working as a developer with WDT Development on this development called White Pine Villas in Hendersonville. We're excited to be back here again. We tried this project last year and I believe the year before, and you guys were grateful enough to give us a contribution, but we're back before you again because we need one this year. We're hoping this will be our lucky year. This development will be 78 units for seniors, 1 and 2 bedroom units. It's going to be located at 2620 Chimney Rock Road in Hendersonville. We just received our updated market study yesterday, which I'm going to forward to the consortium as soon as we get off of this call, but it was very favorable again. They indicated that there is a need for 807 units in our market area in Hendersonville where we're proposing this. They said there's a very good capture rate and these units are definitely needed. We currently have a gap of $400,000, but we're asking the consortium for $350,000. Our total costs are $14,736,690. This ask from the consortium is needed because, as you know, it's very competitive with the NCHFA and the tax credit process. Anything you can offer us will be very helpful, and we would appreciate anything you can give us. One of the reasons our letter was late this year is because we did not think the seller was going to let us have another chance. I mean, it's very difficult when you're asking these sellers, repeatedly to put their properties under contract. And he had told us definitely no. So we thought it was just a lost cause. But then at the last minute, he came back after your initial letter of intent. So that's why we submitted that late. Just wanted to let you know that. We thought we weren't going to have another chance. So that's why this is so critical, is because this probably will be our last chance. And we really want to make this happen. Our group has a lot of development experience. I know we've talked about this in the past, but for the new people, WDT has developed, together we've developed about 10 senior communities. They have 3 that are in the closing or just starting construction process right now. They've developed 4 in Gastonia, just as an example. And for all 4 of those, the city of Gastonia actually contributed funds because they really liked the product. So if that tells you anything. And then last year, or the year before last, maybe, you guys funded the villas at Swannanoa, which will be in Buncombe County in Swannanoa. And that project is underway, and we're really excited about that. But thank you for the time. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Tracy. Last but not least, we have with us Jim Yamin, who has 2 projects from Workforce Homestead, the first being Falling Waters and then Juniper. So what we'll do is, Jim, we'll give you 3 minutes to share about Falling Waters, reset the clock, and give you a little more time to talk on Juniper, sorry.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Hopefully I won't need all my time, since both applications obviously are in Brevard, and there's a good reason for that, is because the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, QAP, has a particular provision that is unique to this year's QAP, which is providing for 1 additional bonus point for Transylvania County, which is one of the 3 counties that were impacted by Tropical Storm Fred last June. So that is going to advantage these 2 applications in Brevard. Furthermore, this disaster recovery language in the QAP goes on to say that that there will be a potential for 2 projects to be approved in Transylvania County potentially, which is a departure from the typical policy that the Housing Finance Agency has for non-metro counties, which is that only 1 application will be approved, if any, from any single county. Another factor that is, I think, working in the advantage of these Transylvania applications is that, there was another feature in the QAP that was introduced new this year. It's called a walk score. And it provides either 2 points, 1 point, or 0 points for all applicants. And in Transylvania County, there are no other applications that are outscoring Falling Waters or Juniper. So there's not going to be that scoring risk from any other competing applications in Transylvania County. I finally want to note that I think a couple of weeks ago or so, I had my planning board meeting for my rezoning application for Falling Waters. And despite the fact that there was a lot of neighborhood opposition, the planning board did vote unanimously to approve Falling Waters rezoning application. And moving on to Juniper, what I hope to be my second application funded in Transylvania County. I'm particularly excited about that application because it is within easy walking distance of Brevard Middle School. So children of residents will be able to easily walk to school from the site. I have also already had some preliminary discussions with the city of Brevard about requesting some local money they have. They have their own local housing trust fund available. Even though I had budgeted potentially $300,000 to hopefully receive from the city of Brevard for Juniper, what I've learned is that the city just simply doesn't even have that much money in their housing trust fund. The maximum they could potentially make available would be $120,000. So that's already showing me that I've got a funding gap in terms of what I have requested for my sources and uses for Juniper from the Regional Housing Coalition. But I know you've got competing requests for money and probably a finite supply that's not going to be able to fulfill all requests. So I have to find out some other ways to make that up. But I do see this particular application as having a very, very good chance of receiving an award from the Housing Finance Agency for federal tax credits, given some of the particular features in the 2022 NCHFA QAP. Don't really want to go into any other information about the project that's already in the application. I don't want to have to regurgitate that information. But I do want to close by saying that I do very much appreciate the support that I've received from the Regional Housing Coalition. You guys have funded Amaranth, a 70-unit development that I just completed last year. We reached 100% occupancy on December 30th, 2021. And you've also funded Jasper, an 84-unit affordable housing development in Swannanoa, which we're going to be finishing construction this May. So thank you very much for that support. And I hope to be also thanking you for your support for 2 new much needed housing developments in Brevard. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Jim. Well, that concludes all of the presentations that we had on schedule for today. Just to give you an idea of the next steps for any consortium members that have any questions, if you can send those questions to our team, to the city staff via email, that would go to Christina Harris. We can share those with the applicants and we'll begin working on updating any evaluations based on the information received. I will note that I received a chat from a team member saying that the Habitat for Humanity sources and uses had been updated. So we do have that information. If it's not showing up, we can try to take care of that after the meeting, but that was received. Next steps past that will be the funding meeting next Wednesday, the 23rd. So this group will reconvene and staff will have funding recommendations in hand and ready to present those. With that, I will turn it back over to Sage.
Thank you, Jonathan and staff, and to all the applicants for being with us today. Exciting projects. I wish we could fund them all. As Jonathan said, we'll be reconvening next week to discuss allocation. We appreciate your time and energy, and that's all I have for you. Unless there's any questions from the consortium, we can adjourn. No questions? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your afternoon and have a great rest of your week.